don't make sense what the suffering was for. Cause I got out my head and I got in my bag. No time to be crying, there's money to make. I'll do what I gotta, whatever it takes.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Extreme Lifestyle Living Podcast. And you guys, of course, know I'm your host, Trey. And today we're going to talk about a topic that resonates deeply with us all. And before we jump into it, I just want to talk about some reflection. And this isn't the topic we're going to talk about today, but it's going to relate to the topic. And I don't think I've done this much reflecting in the past 3 to 6 weeks than I have this entire journey. And what I mean by journey, for some of you that have been following me forever, I mean the last 4 to 5 years since COVID, that's 3 years, but just grinding and really creating this life that I'm living right now. And that leads me into why I've been reflecting so much, right? Because the biggest thing about the topic we're going to talk about is that it's really close to all of our hearts. But with me reflecting, is I've realized that the things that matter most are right in front of us the entire time. And we can only do so much in terms of running and trying to, I don't want to say lie to ourselves, but figure out certain avenues of our lives that we think are certain ways, but certain successes are going to give us certain emotions and feelings and validations, when really a lot of these emotions and validations that we seek are at our arm's reach for the most of the time. And if they're not, it's honestly, they're not that far away if you have an honest, genuine approach to it. And the reason I'm saying that is because as I'm recording this podcast episode, it's the first time that I'm actually sitting in my new office at home. Me and Emma officially have a home now. And it's not that we didn't have a home before, but we had a roommate, and it's nothing against her, you know what I mean? It's literally nothing against her. It's just about having this space. And we've all talked about that, right? Having our space. And that's just what it is. And for me to be recording this podcast episode right now, when in my own office, with everything set up and just really just laid back and enjoying it, when there's been times I've started this podcast in a 1-bedroom apartment. There's been times I've done this podcast in the garage. There's been times that I've done this podcast in my car. And that's just because of the adversities, just trying to create this movement, create this business, and have this part of my life and movement. And it's not even about the business, it's about I really enjoy talking about these topics and sharing my vulnerabilities and being this version of myself, because it's there's no point of having fitness goals and aesthetics and looking certain ways and doing these things physically if you're really not mentally happy with what you're doing. That's the biggest thing that I've learned, which is why I'm reflecting, right? I actually went and hung out with my baby niece Violet today, and it's really understanding how far you're coming in your life. And what I'm saying right now, before I'm going to end this rant right now, is just wherever you are at right now while you're listening to this, just understand at one point in your life, maybe not 100%, but at one point in your life where you are right now was part of your journey and goals, and was a pigment of your imagination. So even if you're not at the end goal of your success, of your plan, of where you think you should be at your life, just know right now, today, as you're listening to this on this Monday, as it's released, you are, or whatever day you're listening to this, you are that much closer to your goal than when you started. So where you are now, there has been times in your life that you prayed, you've cried, you've grinded, you've wished, you've hoped for exactly where you are right now. And the reason why I can say that so confidently is because of how I'm reflecting, and I'm doing this podcast in this office now. I've grinded my movement, my life, what I believe in, into now it's materialized into having my own space to keep capitalizing on these feelings and these emotions, and to lead and to help. And that is why I'm saying just take a moment, and why I want to talk about reflecting is because we're so hyper-focused and fixated on the end goal and winning and getting the validation, and the validation is right in front of us. It's as long as you continuously stay on the right path, every day you're validating yourself. Just make sure you don't veer off of it, right? Which leads me to today's topic, which is perseverance. And specifically, we're going to discuss what perseverance looks like in a human, and we're going to share some strategies on how to stay strong in your life. So let's jump right into it. Perseverance, often called the key to success, is the ability to persist in the face of difficulties, setbacks, and obstacles. It's a quality that can transform ordinary individuals into extraordinary achievers. It's the difference between where you are right now in your life to the next level. So what does perseverance truly look like? Well, at its core, perseverance is about having the determination, and my favorite one here, resiliency, to keep going despite the challenges. It's the willingness, keyword willingness, to face adversity head on and to learn from your failures and to grow stronger in the process. Key, learn from your failures. And like everyone knows, my favorite is gaps are opportunities. A lot of people look at like things they need to learn or grow as daunting, and they're like, oh, I got this to do. It's opportunities. So you learn from your failures and grow stronger in the process. Perseverance manifests itself differently in each person. So you can't rely on anybody else to talk about how they get through their issues, or not. I don't want to say issues, but like grow forward is how we like to call it. But here's a few common characteristics that we all have access to. And before I jump into them, I want to say that if you already have some of these characteristics, then this is what I'm talking about giving yourself a pat on the back and acknowledging that at one point in your life, you wish to be here. And seriously, don't underestimate the value of these. And if they're new to you or you're just getting started in this part of your life, literally do not stress at all. We were all there once in our life, and as long as you start, and like I said, your success is inevitable as long as you stay on the path and never give up. And by you being here listening to this, that's all of the reassurance you need to know that your success is inevitable just to stay on this path. So pat yourself on the back as well. So let's jump into a few characteristics. And I hope you're taking notes because these are honestly fucking bangers. Characteristic number 1 is commitment. Perseverance requires a deep level of commitment to your goals and aspirations. It's the unwavering belief that you're capable of achieving what you set out to do, no matter how difficult the journey may be. You gotta stay committed to the plans and the goals that you set out for yourself. That is honestly, is one of the, that's why it's number 1. It's the key, is commitment. You gotta stay committed to the plans and the goals. Characteristic number 2, my favorite, one of my favorites to talk about all the time, resiliency. Perseverance means bouncing back from setbacks and failures. It's about embracing the inevitable, keyword inevitable, obstacles and viewing them as opportunities for growth rather than reasons to give up. If you think anything in this life is worth having comes easy, you've already lost. That's why we highlight inevitable obstacles, I said. So be prepared to be pissed off. Be prepared to be tired. Be prepared to be upset. Because on the other side of those emotions are all of the wins we're talking about. Characteristic number 1, committed. Characteristic number 2, resiliency. Now, number 3, and it's actually funny. I have characteristic number 3 literally tattooed on my arm, and that is patience. Perseverance demands patience because meaningful achievements rarely happen overnight. I'm going to say that again. Meaningful achievements rarely happen overnight. Perseverance demands patience because meaningful achievements rarely happen overnight. It's about understanding that progress takes time and you have to be willing to put in the necessary effort and endurance to get to where your goals are, period. Characteristic number 4 is adaptability. Adaptability. Perseverance involves adapting to changing circumstances. You have to be agile. It's about the ability to adjust your approach, learn from your mistakes, and keep moving forward even when the path seems uncertain. And this is where there's a quote that has really changed my life, and it was, you do not need to know how you're going to get to the next level. Just keep going forward, and that's why the other characteristics are so important. Now that we have a better understanding of what perseverance looks like, especially after reviewing a few common characteristics, let's explore some strategies on how you today, listening right now, can stay strong in your own life with persevering. So it's safe to say life is full of challenges, both big, small, and maintaining resiliency is essential to persevering through life's obstacles. So here are a few tips to help you navigate through these moments when you feel like giving up. So if you're new here, you're going to learn that I talk about this all the time. If you've been around for a while, you know this is my core to making sure this is your anchor for everything in your life. And that is finding your concrete why. connect deeply with your purpose and to the reason as to why you want to achieve your goals. Not the superficial goals of I want the flashy cars, I want the money, I want the partners, I want all, whatever it is you think it is, but the deeply connected to your purpose. You got to understand the underlying motivation behind your actions so they can give you the strength and the determination to persevere. So when it gets tough, you don't feel like giving up. It goes from I want to make more money to live life like I never had to I want to provide my grandkids the stability of never knowing what it's like to go without. And I want them to be able to spend every second of their life focusing on bettering their future. Those are two big differences, because I know my why, which is why I can persevere forward. And that's why you knowing your concrete why, that's not superficial, that I want to make more money and have flashy things. It's you want to feed and provide stability for grandkids. You don't have to have the same example, but something of that magnitude to hit that heartstring. So regardless of what shows up, you're not folding. Tip number 2 is to break it down. So you have to break down your big goals because they can feel overwhelming. So break them down into smaller, more manageable tasks by focusing one step at a time. You can maintain a sense of progress and keep your motivation high way better if you have a chart or some type of structure to follow your goals to make sure you know exactly where you're at along the timeline. So here's what I recommend, and this is why I said I hope you're writing things down, is set a yearly goal. So 12 months from now, where do you want to be? Where do you see your life physically, mentally, financially, spiritually? Now, break that down into 4 quarters of the year to give you structure. So there's 4 quarters of 3 months. So then you break down each month in each quarter. So 3 months within each quarter, you break each month down. So then you have 4 weeks within each month. Then you break down each week and then each day within each week. And then you have a rough estimate of what your plan looks like for 12 months and you show up and follow it relentlessly. It truly can be that easy. Tip number 3 is you have to cultivate a growth mindset. You have to embrace a growth mindset, which means viewing challenges as opportunities for growth and learning. Like I always said, instead of seeing failures as roadblocks, see it as a stepping stone towards success. Gaps are opportunities. Develop a positive outlook. Believe in your ability to overcome obstacles. The same amount of time passes whether you focus on the growth side of your perspective or on the victim side. So you may as well keep the focus on the growth. And as I like to say, the glass is always half full, never the other way around. Think of that. Tip number 4, which is honestly the most underrated, and it's one of my favorite because this is something, again, as I've been reflecting recently, this is very important and underrated, like I said, is seek support. Surround yourself with a supportive network of friends, family, mentors, online communities, whatever it is that resonates with you and you feel you're most whole and they understand you, and it's healthy. They can't be like Misery Loves Company where there's a bunch of low energy, low frequency, depressed people, but seek support. Surround yourself with a supportive network of friends, family members, mentors, because having people who believe in you and your abilities can provide encouragement, guidance, and accountability during difficult times, and ultimately make all of the world of difference on your journey. Because going back to your why, what's the point of doing everything if you're doing it for the superficial reasons you don't have the people to celebrate it with? That's why when you go back to your why and being committed, you got to understand what it is you're doing so you can stay focused and dedicated on your goals. Because it's crucial that your support group either helps you build the life that you want because they're coming in somewhat the same direction of their life building in the same way, or they're going to tear you down. Because with the right type of support, you'll be amazed at how far your life can take it. You never know what someone else is thinking or how they're operating until you truly get the right avenue of support and connection. I swear. So remember, perseverance is not about avoiding failure or never facing adversity. It's about developing the resiliency to navigate through those challenging times and grow stronger in the process. So whether you're chasing your dreams, overcoming personal obstacles, or striving for success in any area of your life, let perseverance be your guiding force. Because I'm telling you, if you can just take these key characteristics that I said and take the tips on how to keep them and implement the perseverance into your life, you'll be absolutely amazed at where your life can get. And that's why it's so important that I share my vulnerable experiences with me reflecting on my life. Because I'm a firm believer that anyone can truly change their life. And with the office that I'm sitting in and the gratitude that I'm feeling and the love and the family and support that ultimately was the motivation for me to change my life that I thought I never had any of, which is why I love the quote, what got you here is not going to get you there, because the same energy I used to get here is not the same energy that's going to keep me afloat and happy. It's going to tear me down, because going back to it, my why, like I realized, like that's why I'm highlighting the right support group, is that with the right people in your corner, it's so much more important that you're not alone, because maybe right now there's a lot of people in your corner that don't support your vision or support your growth, or you're feeling resistant because you got to go through a lot of changes, and it's not easy, right? Which is why I'm highlighting all these key points. But I'll stop ranting. I appreciate y'all, and perseverance with all these key characteristics and these tips, save them. So that's all I got for today. That's what perseverance looks like and how you can stay strong in your life. I hope you found this insightful. I really do. I know I ranted a few times, but I do hope you found it empowering. I do hope you found everything just, resonated, So remember, you have the strength within you at all times to persevere and achieve your greatness within your life. You guys all know I love you all, and I'll see you in the next episode. Let's get it.
On my side, I don't know anymore. Cause it's more than a battle, we going to war. And losing again, I just cannot afford. I think it's my time to go even the score. What you see on the surface attached to my core. I'm stacking my paper by feeling for more. One hell of a ride, but I'm staying on board. And now it makes sense what the suffering was for. Cause I got out my head and I got in my bag. No time to be crying, there's money to make. I'll do what I gotta, whatever it takes. Cause I'm pushing myself to be one of the great. And my time is right now, I cannot wait. I'm receiving the love and rejecting the hate. I'm moving in silence and planning my play. You wanna work me and that's on my